Burning e-waste in the open like this is illegal in Ghana. This site was shut down by the government in 2021, but it's back again. Abdullah is one of those who earn their living here.
What's going on here? What is this?
We just burn it for copper.
He's extracting precious metals like copper and even gold from e-waste.
In a day, how many? Maybe hundreds like this in a day?
A day. Oh, more than 200 pieces.
Hundreds.
Burning plastic and rubber cables is easy as they catch fire quickly. Once he has the copper from this car part, Abdullah will sell it to a company that sends these metals back to China
and put fire
or Europe.
to burn it.
E-waste plastic can contain toxic chemicals. When burnt, they are released into the air, causing respiratory diseases and cancer. Habiba works at the dump every day. One of her daughters tells me Habiba spends almost half her money on medicines to deal with conditions resulting from working there.
Sometimes you go to her website and you'll be like, oh, mommy, you have to rest, because you can see that she's really stressed out. Then she'll tell you that, like, if she rests, she will not get anything to spend. So because of that, she has to work.
A new report has shown of all types of waste seizures, e-waste is the most frequently seized item by customs authorities around the world. Chasing down the criminal gangs is a constant game of cat and mouse.
Certain waste streams we're seeing more illegality taking place. So, for example, in some of the containers that the team are opening today, there is what would be classed as flaked or shredded plastic. And what we often find is there's blended within that waste electricals.
Illegal waste business, including e-waste, is worth $24 billion a year.
Criminal groups, through the use of cryptocurrencies, launder their profits. And law enforcement needs to do more to become more tech savvy and to confront organized crime and to hit them in the wallet.
E-waste around the world is predicted to increase by more than 30% in the next 6 years. There are fears that its trafficking will spiral further, and waste from the global rich will continue to affect some of the world's most vulnerable people.
And Navin joined me in the studio earlier, and I asked him how challenging is it for investigators to deal with the criminal gangs who are trafficking this waste for profit.
What I was told by investigators is, we heard about cryptocurrencies there, but then it's also about, for example, when traffickers, they are trafficking this somewhere, for example, and if authorities are alert at the receiving point, then they just turn their beacon off. And then, they try to see where else can they go. If not, they dump it right at the middle of the ocean. That kind of challenge. And then also misdeclaration. This is a massive issue. Misdeclaring as personal goods. Like these goods are reusable, they're all good, but then actually they are not. And that is the thing. That's why they say something might be done by this Basel Convention amendment that we can talk about.
Well, let's talk about what's in this e-waste and the dangers it poses to the environment.
So the thing is, the main component is it's a mixture of chemicals, plastic, and different elements. And what experts tell me is it's difficult to separate them. And that's why recycling is very difficult. And if they do it, it's very expensive. There's inadequate infrastructure even in rich countries. Now, therefore, the plastic is the main thing there. What they say is there are very, very harmful plastic that cannot be treated. And if you burn them, then toxic fumes causing respiratory diseases, cancer, and things like that.
And there's a big increase in this type of waste from electric cars, I understand.
Electric cars as well, and also, other cars, vehicles. For example, another report by the World Customs Organization showed there's a 700% increase in 2023 compared to 2022, and these vehicles are a major source of e-waste. You see, our cars nowadays have all those gadgets, and when I saw for myself when they were being terminated on the spot, all those things coming out, and either they are burned or dumped after, of course, they extract the valuable metals like copper or even gold.
And obviously we've been reporting on COP29 and on previous COPs as well. We've talked about how the developing world, poorer countries have to cope with the impacts of climate change caused largely by wealthier countries and the emissions they've created. And here we have an example, don't we, of where this kind of toxic waste is being dumped in poorer nations.
Yes, I mean, again, it's a massive challenge. And again, investigators are telling me some countries, for example, in Southeast Asia, that have gained some experience, they are clamping down. More than 100 containers were seized in Malaysia this year alone. So they are clamping down, and yet traffickers are making their roads inway. But then there are other destinations, Africa, Mexico even for that matter. They're all getting these kind of things.
And that was Navin Singh Khadka, our global